Two $1,400 stimulus checks as a result of a new study that was just released. Also, a huge thank you to today's video sponsor, StartMail, but more on them in just a minute. Also, if you're new here or if you haven't done so yet, make sure to subscribe by hitting that button right down below the video, as it's totally free to do so, and I'm here for you every single day with all of the latest updates, as information is changing very rapidly right now, and I'm right here by your side to help you out in any way that I possibly can, and to make sure that you're staying tuned with all of these updates. Let's get right into the video. Alright, so as a result of this new study that was just released by Fight Inequality Alliance, they found a solution to implement two additional $1,400 stimulus checks for struggling Americans right now. I don't know about you, but that sounds pretty good to me. Two additional $1,400 stimulus checks would certainly be life-changing for millions and millions of people. It would be incredibly, incredibly helpful. Well, as a result of this study, they found that by implementing a small wealth tax, teeny tiny wealth tax, in the amount of only 2% for anybody with over $5 million and up to 5% for billionaires, it would generate an extra $928 billion of tax revenues every single year. They also found that by adjusting those numbers just a little bit, maintaining the 2% small wealth tax for anybody with $5 million or more, and then bumping it up to 10% for billionaires, it would actually generate $1.34 trillion of additional tax revenues every single year, which would actually be equivalent to three $1,400 stimulus checks. Wouldn't that be absolutely incredible? Yeah. Well, more on this study here in just a minute after a word from today's sponsor. I'd like to thank today's video sponsor, StartMail, for all of your email privacy needs. Let me quickly give you a few reasons why I transferred into StartMail and what I love about their services. Number one, you have the ability to encrypt every single email, even if the recipient doesn't use encryption. Number two, when you delete an email from StartMail, it's gone, and it's gone forever. It's not hidden away in some secret folder. Next, and this was a really big one for me, transferring into StartMail was incredibly easy and seamless, as I could just use my current email data, no starting over from scratch. I'm not sure about you, but I have a ton of different things that are linked to my current email, and starting all over did not sound very good to me. But don't worry, with StartMail, no need to start over. You can just use your current data. And lastly, I love this one as well. You have the ability to open up and use unlimited number of aliases. In other words, disguising your email address. Let's be real. How many times have you been on the phone or talking to somebody and they say, hey, just give me your email address and I'll send you over a quick quote? Before you know it, this person is inundating you with emails every single day. If you were to give them an alias, you could just delete it and gone. You don't have to hear from that person ever again. It's pretty nice. So now you might be wondering, what is the mission behind StartMail? It's actually very simple. Keep the private information in your email private. Unfortunately, a lot of people think that all email is private and secure. Unfortunately, that is not true, and some of these big tech companies are actually selling your personal data that they pull right out of your email. As I said a minute ago, I have a lot of important things linked to my email, including financial information, because I do online banking, medical information. Now that my wife and I have our new baby, we've been doing some of these virtual visits with doctors, and sure enough, they send medical information by email. So my wife and I decided it's time to ditch the spy mail and transition into something safe, secure, and private for our most sensitive and personal information. If you think it's time to experience safe, secure, and private email, just use the link startmail.com/billionaire, where you can get 50% off of your first year. Yes, you heard that correctly, 50% off your first year by using the link startmail.com/billionaire, and I'll be sure to put a link down below in the description. So as you can see with this proposal, just by implementing a small 2%, 5%, or possibly even 10% small wealth tax, it would generate, let's just call it $1 trillion every single year in additional tax revenues. Now here's the thing. All of these numbers are based on the $1,400 stimulus check that was actually sent out back in March and April of 2021, as in income being $75,000 for an individual or $150,000 as a married couple. Just think if they narrowed those parameters down to the lower income individuals, maybe $40,000 of income, maybe $50,000 of income, this would actually generate multiple $1,400 stimulus checks. And when I say multiple, I'm saying probably 4, 5, maybe even 6 of them if they really narrowed the income thresholds down versus keeping it what it was in early 2021 as a result of the last $1,400 stimulus check. So let's just say $1 trillion every single year in additional tax revenues. This could be literally life-changing in so many lives for millions and millions of people. So again, just another very interesting study that I wanted to share with you right here in the community. There's a lot of talk about there right now about how they can get the wealthy and the rich to pay their fair share, right? We've heard the president say that only like 500 times here over the last year. But the point is, this is just another study, another way where they can also help to distribute wealth, as in the wealth distribution, which is exactly what they want to do, have the wealth or the wealthy pay their fair share and take some of that money and roll it back into the economy in the form of giving it to and sending it out to help out the lower income with all of their living expenses, because that's just what's going on right now. The lower income are really, really struggling right now. And this study is just showing one more way that we could transfer wealth into the lower income and help all those people out, basically by not printing any more money. They just simply transfer the wealth, right? You've probably heard that before. Wealth transfer, wealth distribution, something like this. Reallocating wealth. It's all essentially the same thing. So anyway, very interesting study. But with that being said, I want to bring my wife in, Corey. She's going to read this study to you. It's actually a really short article here. It only takes her a minute or two to read this thing, but I think this will give you all the details that you want to know, and it'll tell you the source and actually where I found this and everything that I'm reading and where I'm giving you this information from. Just kind of an interesting article I wanted to share here with the community. So with that being said, let's bring Corey in. Make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet. And of course, I'll continue to keep you updated every single day as we get more details on all of this information and the stimulus packages that are out there right now, as well as whatever Congress is doing and any further details or updates that they come up with. So Corey, take it away. She'll read that article, and then of course she will come in with these shout outs right here in this video. So Corey, it's all you. Subscribe down below and go back and check out any of the other 2,000 videos. All right, Corey, take it away.
How 2 new $1,400 stimulus checks could be sent out to struggling Americans if small wealth tax is introduced. The article is by Patrick Knox. A small wealth tax on America's multimillionaires and billionaires could raise more than $900 billion a year, which could fund 2 more $1,400 stimulus checks, reports say. The analysis noted that during the COVID-19 pandemic, the wealth of the world's richest has risen dramatically while inequality was widening. The wealth of American billionaires has increased by $2 trillion since the start of the pandemic, while many households have been less struggling to make ends meet. But a study published by Fight Inequality Alliance, Institute for Policy Studies, Oxfam, and a group called Patriotic Millionaires has concluded there is a solution. A wealth tax, which rates at 2% for those with more than $5 million, raising to 5% for billionaires, could raise $928.39 billion a year, the report calculated. A 2% rate on wealth over $5 million rising to 10% for those with more than $1 billion would raise $1.34 trillion. The report said an extra $928 billion could raise the government's health budget by a third. It could also wipe out half of the household's out-of-pocket health costs. The American Rescue Plan last year included about $400 billion that was used for $1,400 direct payments to most Americans, but with many American families still struggling financially during the ongoing pandemic. The sum of $928 billion in tax revenue would cover the cost of 2 more $1,400 stimulus checks. The report also found that a wealth tax on the world's multimillionaires and billionaires could raise $2.52 trillion annually. This would be enough to lift 2.3 billion people out of poverty, make enough vaccines for the entire world, and guarantee healthcare and social protection for people in lower income countries. It comes after patriotic millionaires, a group of more than 100 of the world's richest people, urged governments to tax them more. In an open letter to coincide with the World Economic Forum's virtual Davos, they said, "As millionaires, we know the current tax system is not fair." Our shout-outs today go to John Miller, Janet Miller, Barbara Heim, David Nagel, Laura Mendelez, Kelly Leary, Lauren Cantrell, Tiny Harris, Kenneth Rolls, Cynthia Zapeta, Sheree Wilder Richburg, and Karen Giddis. Thank you for being members of the fan club.